Se vai cantar, ergue a cabeça. Enfrente o mal que agindo assim será vital para o seu coração. Aqui em casa, experiência, se aprende uma lição. Eu já sofri por amar assim. Me dediquei, mas foi tudo em vão. Saber se vai cantar, ergue a cabeça. Enfrente o mal que agindo assim será vital para o seu coração. Experiência, se aprende uma lição. Eu já sofri por amar assim. Me dediquei, mas foi tudo em vão. Pra que se lamentar? Se sabia, pode encontrar quem te ame com toda a força e amor. Assim, superar.
My goodness. How was that for an opening?
I
Hello,
thought that was
darling.
a great opening. Well, when I saw the kitty cat, I just had to wake up Sasha for a moment to say hi to everybody. How are you, Whimsy?
You know what? Today wins the award for the most emails by people having meltdowns in the history of Taco Tuesdays.
Yes. Yes. As people know, doing this show with you, I have to do some homework and preparation on Tuesdays, going through the news, going through things you send me. I started at 10 this morning, and as of 4:30 today, I was going, oh my God, what's happening? And
Nice. Wow.
pop up bulletins on my phone and news flashes, and everybody's feeling gaslighted right now.
I've never seen this before, but
yeah. I said to you at the beginning of the show, I hope to goodness today we can give some peace, some calm, maybe a little hope, a little laughter to people, because people really need it right now. I think you and I need it too.
oh yeah, you're still there. Can you believe what fans did today? I mean, like, can you believe the amount of comments and emails and we have never had a response like this, and you know why? I'm trying to figure out why. Here's why everybody's freaking out.
Okay.
Other than the facts, we didn't do Taco Tuesday under a Trump presidency. We did.
No, we never did. Yeah. Never did. I joked with you a couple of weeks ago. I said, well, one thing about this administration, we're going to have a lot of material for shows. But I said that jokingly. It's not a joke anymore. And not just from all the comments from people out there, emails you've been receiving, just my own friends I've been talking to, people I've been speaking to on the phone. It's like everybody is like on edge. They're traumatized. They're in fear. And these are just all classic symptoms of people being gaslighted, being hit over the head with absolute chaos and confusion. And we've got to rise above it. And I even pray. I usually don't pray before we do our shows. I prayed today. I prayed that we're going to receive messages. We're going to receive guidance, give people what they need. I hope
we've never seen this. I mean, like, this changes the dynamic of Taco Tuesdays a lot, because we started this happy-go-lucky the second year of the Biden administration, and we were in a really good place. And now we don't know what to do.
I mean, yes, there comes a point where you have to laugh at the absurdity. I think we've all been in those positions where things are like, can't get any worse than this. And we start laughing only to see, yeah, it can get worse. But I guess we have to find our humor. We have to find our hope. We have to find our compassion. We have to find ways to lift each other up and support each other as a community right now. Not to sound preachy or anything, but that's what it feels like to me. What do you...
I was going to say, going right into the remotes. I apologize for the cough. Yeah. I do have an allergy. Something's been setting me off. It's not pollen. We know that it's not pollen, but probably cat dander. My cat is building a new coat because it's winter. But something set me off. Anyway, I did talk to the doctor. I am on medication, so hopefully I won't be coughing that much today. I do apologize. We will get through it. I wanted to say that when I did a remote view on the main issue that came up that people were the most upset about, we can just go ahead and go right in this. Or can we hold off and say hi to people first?
Let's say hi to people.
It's been really
our beautiful, beautiful people out there.
Our social media is just exploding.
We love all of you. We're grateful for you. Let's see, Vicky, we have Christy, our wonderful Joel Tilson, Desiree, Rose, Jill, Raymond. Sorry, a lot of people on today. Lady Venus, Liz. Let's see. Where are my glasses here? I need them right now. I'm so sorry. Clarence, Bill, Rose, trying not to repeat names. We have a lot of beautiful people out there. Oh, hi, Joyce Petrus. Hi, she's my great friend. Let's see, Rose, Sarah, Desiree.
Okay.
I think we can. Let's make it a big blanket.
Share, subscribe to the stream if you could. We really appreciate it. How do you like the new book? Excuse me. How do you like the new book?
The new book, I have not started reading just yet, I must confess, because of everything going on. But you have told me it's something I'm going to love because it's something where it transports you to different lands.
Yeah, and other time periods.
The book. Where did I?
Other lands and other times.
Here we go. Sorry. I should have been better prepared. I should have had my book here at hand, but I've got 10 pages of notes here just from the news alone.
Yeah, so if you'd like to join our book club, we have a humble book club. Chuck and I decided to start it a couple years ago. We wanted to do something that was uplifting and spiritual. He and I are really committed to self-improvement, our spiritual lives. It's one of the reasons we became friends, and one of the reasons why he's been employed by me for going on 5.5 years now. Makes me feel old. Actually, longer than that if you talk about me working with David. Yeah. Oh my God. 8 years.
Oh, we go back
8 years. Yeah.
Don't we go back at least a decade? Let me think.
Maybe.
I think 2014. Is it 2015 when we first started working together?
Yes. Oh my God. It's been 10 years.
Yes, it has.
My assistant for 10 years.
10 years. Well, your friend too. But yes, we both worked together in the health industry in West Hollywood, California.
I hired you in 2017. I hired you privately in 2017.
Maybe that's it. Well, we were just working together.
How long have you been working privately for me?
I guess since 17. I've lost track.
8 years. 8 years.
Something like that. It's just time flies. But we started out just as good co-workers and quickly became very good friends. Where I often joke how we got in trouble at work for talking too much.
Yeah. So we started the book club because it's just what we're into. We're into spiritual subjects. This is the stuff that is our bliss. And we wanted to support local artists that are part of our community. So if you've written a book and you think that we would appreciate the book and you'd like to be part of our Taco Tuesdays, try not to sneeze. Please send it to care of Dr. Whimsy Anderson, 1819 Southwest 5th Avenue, Suite 116, Portland, Oregon, 97201. And maybe your book will be picked for Taco Tuesdays. We like independent writers, and we cover topics of spirituality, ethics. They can be fiction and nonfiction. I'm excited because this is our nonfiction. I think we did fiction last quarter. Last one was fiction too. So we do both fiction and nonfiction.
Sure. No, I'm looking forward to it very much. Let me start tonight. I think I don't want to put on any more news. I don't know if I even watch television.
Yeah. So I think the first main issue that people wanted to talk about was Trump freezing and blocking federal funds.
Yes.
Okay, you want to talk about that?
Well, where do we even begin? Freezing federal funds. First of all, he does not understand how far-reaching all of this is. This is going to mean potentially programs like Meals on Wheels for seniors, school lunches for children, special education needs, social programs. I'm thinking about how here in California, with our fires, federal help being promised to us. Would it have meant cutting that off? We could go on and on with this.
Well, what I had predicted was that the feds and the Congress would come in to put a stop to him. But what he's trying to do is renegotiate contracts. And he does very bold and shocking things that horrify people. And usually the system will come in and stop him. And then they will sit down and negotiate. And then nothing will change. And then he'll say, oh, I won. It's kind of like a shock jock approach to politics.
Yeah.
And it's as if I feel like we're being psychologically manipulated.
Exactly.
Oh my God, we're hysterical. We're hysterical.
Yeah,
Isn't that what he gets off on is making us hysterical? When the truth of the matter is, let's stay calm and continue to monitor the situation like no drama Obama.
Yeah.
Go on. I'm sorry. You want to?
Well, no. Yeah, I'm listening to you, and at the same time, it's just classic symptoms of gaslighting, and this is where we have to recognize what it is, band together in strength, and not allow this, because that's one of the reasons so many people were panicking today. And this is what Trump is doing this on purpose. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's a master at this. I was even thinking of one of my favorite books of all time that helped me. It was a book called Stop Walking on Eggshells.
Oh, yes. That was one of the books. I got that book after you recommended it.
Well, I think there's a lot in that book that would assist all of us in dealing with Trump right now. Because we're
please go on.
It's because the book addresses what it's like to be controlled by a gaslighter. It's about borderline personality disorder, but it refers to things like a parent, a spouse, a coworker, a boss, what have you, anyone in a position of authority over you where they're manipulating you like this, throwing stuff at you, keeping you in constant panic, constant confusion, and then slipping in a little bit of kindness and then pulling it away again to where you don't know where you're going and you just feel head over the head. You feel assaulted. You feel confused. And gaslighters want to do this because it's their way of beating you into submission. The book details this in a way that I wish this book had existed when I was a kid with my mother. It would have helped me a lot. I found it 40 years after the fact, but I think it's one of the most powerful books I've ever read in my life.
I think that if I were to say there was a collective message from all the comments we've received over the last 4 days, it's really started to get overwhelming for us over the last couple of days. What can we say to people based on that? Like, stop walking on eggshell. Like, what can we say that's going to help people? Because I'm upset. I'm getting upset. I'm listening to everybody. I mean, like, I'm reading the news. I'm getting upset. Sure. What can we do? What can we do? We feel like we have no power.
I know that's exactly what he wants us to feel, like we have no power, for one thing. And we've got to recognize this is an illusion that he's creating. We've got to see through him, see what he is doing, and be on guard. Now, thankfully, like we predicted last week, you did, I got it also in my cards, there were going to be a lot of judgment rulings and things that were going to stop him. And I tend to think Trump has even known this all along, but he's gone ahead and done it anyway because he just knows how it's going to panic and affect people. And then it gets pulled away again. That's gaslighting. But I just think right now.
Did you receive a copy? I'm sorry. Did you receive a copy of today's show? Because for some reason I can't find it.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Do you want me to?
No, okay. I'll find it. Please go on.
Okay. But I was thinking, people need to step up to do what they can, protect themselves from being targeted. We need to pray for people. We need to pray for Donald Trump himself. There are people right now that are not just watching the news, they're living the news right now, like the people being deported. People feel like they have less of a voice right now. So we need to work on a community level to remind each other of our truth and our power and our strength and our love. And we're much better than this.
Yes.
Much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the other issues, we've got a lot of issues to go through because people rightly so are upset, and we are here for you. And it's okay for, be upset with us, this is
okay.
This is a safe space. We're upset too.
We are.
And we're there for you. But the next thing that had my phone blowing up, Oath Keepers founder no longer banned from DC UC U.S. Capitol. Another one was shot and killed when he was fighting with a police officer. You want to weigh in on this one?
Oh, God. Do I want to weigh in on this? It's like there's so many stories today. Like I have all these notes here. And even before we did our show, I was like, am I going to be able to keep up with all this to talk about it? But yeah, this Oath Keeper, I mean, all of his restrictions have been removed. Didn't the judge who had initially sentenced him to, I believe, 18 years in jail say something to the effect that he was a menace to our community, to our nation, to democracy? And I think she even put travel restrictions on him. But Trump, when he issued the pardon, all of that got taken away. He's just been released back into the system again. And God only knows what he's going to do. And I even worry, I'm sure we're all worried about all these criminals being pardoned. It's like they're being emboldened. And how many other people are being emboldened right now? Yeah.
Well, that's the other question, is that I think that is really at the heart of why our audience is so upset. You can go ahead and take a look at some of the questions and comments. I'm sure there's a lot people say, but they're upset because of the message it sends about our ethics and our values.
Yeah. Well, here's one right here. Is Trump doing this just so he can declare martial law and completely take over the government? Interesting point. I wouldn't put anything beyond what Trump's trying to do right now. Do you want me to keep it with questions, or?
Well, I think, do you guys want to do the empath prayer and let's just blitz away and see what we can find out? But I mean, it's like there's a lot here, and let's just try and get to people's questions as fast as we can, because there's a lot. And if we have to go a little bit over, we don't mind going over.
Okay. We're here for you.
Yeah, we'll be here extra time if you want.
We're here for you.
All right, let's come together. Let's gather around. We'll do the empath prayer, and then we will blitz away. There's no such thing as a silly question. Somebody said that also, and they're like, "Is other people?" No. We all were there with you.
Silly presidents.
No, we're. Okay, let's do the empath prayer.
Okay.
Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen.
Amen.
So we can go ahead and try and conquer the questions now for everybody. You want us to just start? I'll start at the top and work my way down. How's that sound?
That sounds good. Let's do it.
All right. And give a gratitude to Joel Tilson. We give gratitude to him every day. He's kind enough to show up on his own volition here and keep us organized. He is the official floor director, and we give him a lot of respect and kudos. Thank you to Joel.
Thank you, Joel.
All right. So Joel, thank you. So Joel has organized the questions for us, and because he's right there with the meltdown. Okay, Trump and the GOP balancing the budget by cutting the funds for the poor. We have commented about it. Let's throw the cards.
Okay.
This is the number one comment today.
I have no idea what's going to come up here. I'm just going to start Tossing cards. Whoop. Let's see. Where did my cards go?
What you got there, buddy?
I'm trying to make sense about all this here. Okay, leadership. We know what that applies to right now. But then I got competition, survival.
Oh, geez.
But then it started to look a little better here. Priorities, decisions. But then I take hope in this. I got compromise and balance. Now, balance may mean the judicial system. It might be emergency laws being passed. I don't know, but balance. So I'm getting at least some protection and safety from that.
Yeah, I mean, we have a system in place. We have checks and balances, and you would think that if the guy is totally crazy, my prediction, when I went into the meditation on it, was that the courts would step in, and that's exactly what's happened.
Because laws of justice.
Yeah,
I got this last week when you were getting cards about judicial rulings. That's just what came up to me.
So you have situations like this where the Oath Keeper got banned, but you also have situations where the judges are coming in and freezing things. And so I think it's not so much what he can get away with, because a lot of these laws, a lot of what he tries to do gets thrown out with, there's an emergency and then it gets thrown out. And so nothing has changed other than the fact that we have a president having a temper tantrum.
Except even if Trump knows these are going to be thrown out, he's very aware he's scaring the bejesus out of people.
Yeah, that's the point.
In that respect, he is accomplishing his purpose, or his intention, I should say. He wants us scared right now. He wants us panicking.
Yeah, I'm not going to play that. That's why I'm saying I got on with my life.
Yeah.
It's like, people are freaking out and people are texting me and everybody's having a meltdown. And it's like, we're all getting upset. And it's because we're walking on eggshells.
Well, and also this kind of negative energy just feeds the monster. This feeds Trump. That we got to avoid that. We've got to stay in our positive energy. Stay in our truth, stay in our power.
So when you read a book like this, I mean, unfortunately, in this situation, this book is for people who are what we call cluster B, not just borderlines, but narcissistic personality disorder would fall into that category.
Sound familiar?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a book basically that third edition. How many people have bought this book?
I don't know, because I think I first mentioned it to you about a decade ago, didn't I? I think I have first edition. I want to read it again. I think I'm going to do that this week.
Yeah, and I think that it's just cool that you brought that up, and as it is a relationship we're having. It's not a relationship we're having with somebody it's not a personal relationship, but it's a relationship with our
if I may say so, I think the reason it triggers me so much, you know about my mother, and that's not to impugn my mother, but she suffered from borderline personality disorder, and she used to gaslight me as a child. I had teachers who did this. I had the woman I'm talking about. She used to be my boss. She used to gaslight me. So I'm very, very hypersensitive to this when I see signs of it. And it triggers me. And so when I see Trump, I'm seeing a master gaslighter here. And it angers me. It makes me want to stand up to it. Stand up to the damn bully. Yeah.
And nothing changes. He doesn't, no human being has those kinds of power.
Yeah.
$10 for a dozen eggs. You want to talk about that?
Oh, probably more like $15 out here in California. They're getting outrageous.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with Trump.
in the grocery store.
It's not something that Trump can stop, and it's not something that he can fix.
Bird flu.
Yeah, the birds died.
Yeah, and then also, but they're having to do mass exterminations of chickens right now and ducks, trying to control this. So there's going to be just the meat. Chicken is going to be in shortage. Eggs are going to be in shortage. And look at all the things we cook with using eggs that are not going to be available. So that's going to drive up.
I'm using fake eggs. Like I made a chocolate cake yesterday.
Yes.
And I have 2 eggs left. And I heard about the crazy thing with the egg. I've got 2 eggs left. Oh, Naperville is $3.99.
Wow. How are you getting them that price?
Eggs. It has to do with if the flu epidemic hit your community.
I guess that's what it is. Gosh, I'm thinking of my grandmother who had a farm in West Virginia. And as a little boy, I used to go out to the hen house with a basket and gather the fresh eggs and everything. And but her chickens were treated very humanely.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having chickens. I mean,
no, but it's like these.
I don't believe there's anything wrong with eating an egg.
Oh no, I just mean these.
Have a problem with this fast factory. Yeah, they have a problem with abusing the animals.
Yeah, it's all the cruelty.
Yeah, I know some people that rescue hens from battery farms, like things, and they let them just roam in their homestead. And then when they're walking around, they're like, "Oh, there's an egg." Who did Sally dump that? Egg. So even though they're vegan, I know a few people in California, they're vegans, but if one of their rescue hens lays an egg, make a cake, right? So they get a couple eggs a week just from all their rescues.
Yeah.
And sometimes they just throw it in the compost. And sometimes they mix it up in the feed and give it to certain animals. And sometimes they just eat it because they feel morally and ethically it's fine. It's just going to be dumped in the trash. But yeah, even from a rescue hen, you can get a lot of eggs.
I wish I could have a hen here in my apartment.
What I got, I don't think you guys can see it, so I'll just show it to you. What I got was Trump thinking beyond the United States. So Trump's mind, when I went into the cards, I wound up with the 3 of Wands. 3 of Wands is waiting for your ship to come in, and it's thinking about what's happening beyond the horizon. I know he's meeting with Netanyahu next week about the rebuild.
First world leader to be invited to the White House.
I feel like I want to pull my head out. We'll talk about that a little bit. And he's going overseas to Israel. My Israel card is the high priestess who holds the Torah, the hopes and fears that the war will end. And then King of Wands would indicate war. So more war is coming to the Middle East. But that's where Trump is focused on his overseas visit and the rebuild of Gaza. I don't know what the hell's going on with the rebuild of Gaza. I know that Benny Gantz, who got the first copy of the Oasis One rebuild, he walked out of the War Cabinet. The War Cabinet approved it. They approved the rebuild, but Benny Gantz walked out of the unity, and Netanyahu now has total power. But when the original Oasis One that was approved included expanding the land so that the people of Gaza could have Sinai, could have not all of Sinai, but part of it. And so that is given by Egypt. So Egypt will grant a homeland expanded to Oasis, and then Israel too has to give something. So Israel and Israel and Egypt both give. People are like, well, what is Israel going to do? Well, it's first off, given what they did to us, I don't think we're feeling too generous. But if you look at the Oasis closely, the Israel side over here, this is Sderot. And here, Gaza Oasis over here. The middle one is Kibbutz Belre down here. And then you have Sinai over here. So you have a land expansion so people can come and work in these areas in integrated kibbutzes, but you also have one in Sinai. So what I don't like about Trump is that he's like, yeah, we're going to send him to Egypt. Like he wants to sound like an asshole. Like
yes, he does.
We're going to go to that. Oh, we're going. He's like, the whole thing has to be rebuilt. We're sending him to say, yes, it has to be rebuilt. And we are having Oasis One does begin in Sinai, but he's making it out like we're going to take your house and we're going to take your little dog too. And it's like, Oh, for the love of God, enough already.
Yeah.
That is not what the IDF said. It's like, gimme, I mean, like he wants to like make people cry and hold their puppy. It's a land expansion rebuild. And the entire Middle East is going to be involved, including the private sector. So it goes back to what you had said. Let's fuck with them. Let's play with their heads. We're going to take you to Sinai, little girl. Like, I mean, what is his? He's a perverter. He's a freak. He gets off on hurting people.
Yes, he does.
It has nothing whatsoever to do with what the actual plan is. Yeah. Nothing. There's it's not like we're going to send you there, you little kid, and you're going to be stuck out in the desert, never to go home, crying for your puppy. You know? It's like
your little dog too. Yes, it's almost like that, you know.
Yeah, he wants people upset. What do you expect? They have to live somewhere. The whole area is demolished. So get them out of the war zone, get them to safety in these oases, and then we can rebuild the central part. That was what we presented. And he's turning it into you're gonna be sent to your death. You know.
They're gonna clear them all out. You know, language like that. This simplistic way he talks. You know, and I was listening to his press secretary today, and of course the job of the press secretary is to represent the words of the president, but to hear her, obviously an intelligent woman, reading idiotic statements, quoting him verbatim, you could just tell it was Trump's language. Like what you saw what he said about the drones, that we've been talking about for weeks and weeks. He issued this statement through his press secretary. Oh, yes, that was all authorized by the FAA, and it's all from the government, and they're just doing investigations and quote unquote that sort of thing. Very simplistic wording like that. Like, what the hell does that mean? That sort of thing or whatever.
Okay. Joel Tilton, question from the group. Do we think that Trump is having a breakdown?
How do we respond to that? I don't know. Whimsy, I see two sides of it. I see yes. And also I see someone who very much knows what he's doing. But then how much of that's Trump and how much of that is Musk and other people telling him what to do? What do you think, Whimsy?
I just think that he's like, we're going to clear him out. Like he's just like, God, he reminds me of my mother.
I'm sorry, he said that about my mother.
My mother was tough like that.
So was mine.
Maybe it's like anybody who's
I didn't want to interrupt you, and I didn't want to get off topic, but I was just going to say I was reminded of the time you did a remote viewing for me of my childhood and my mother, and you said, "Oh my God, you grew up in a war zone." Remember you said that to me?
Oh, I did a remote.
Yes, you did.
Oh my God.
You bet your life. I mean, God bless my late mother, but I see Donald Trump. I recognize the behavior. I grew up with it.
All right, let's see.
Anyway, I didn't mean to get off track there.
No, that's okay. I'm trying to get the guys, but it's really true that walking on eggshells. And I would say things to my mother like, well, we've got a proposal for the rebuild of Gaza, and Israel must give something and Egypt must give something. They will donate a section of the Sinai, and then we will work towards expanding Oasis into these secure areas. And and she would translate it as, we're going to clear you out.
Yes.
I would have, this sounds like conversations with my mother, where they take the facts, but then they make them hostile and abusive and cruel and make people weep.
Yeah. I was just looking at one of the comments here. He knows exactly what he is doing, and he is a reptile. Yes. Remember when you were teaching me about the brain and the evolution and how didn't you say like the back, the spinal cord, like a snake, the base of the brain, like a reptile, like a snake's head?
Yes, that's right.
Because our thinking is here in the frontal lobes. And
Okay.
Okay.
So Social Security was the other next one.
Oh yeah.
You've got 10 pages on yours, right?
Oh, I tell you, I have so many notes here where I was just trying to keep track of all the news stories today. And I thought, where am I even going to start when we do our show today?
You want to try and do Social Security next?
Yeah, let's do Social Security. I think we've found it's going to be okay, but let's take
a look at Social Security under Trump.
Oh God. Oh, I think I got something here that's hopefully encouraging. Shall I go ahead while you're still putting your cards together?
Oh, yeah.
The first part does not look good. Okay, the first part, risk, loss, and shame. But then I kept pulling cards. I got new beginnings, truth, judgment, how that keeps coming up, judgment.
Yeah, the judgment.
And this is when I knew to stop reading the cards. I thought, when I got victory. This was my last card. I think we're going to be okay, but it's going to be a big mess.
Yeah.
Along the way. Yeah.
The main issue, fear of poverty, 5 of Pentacles.
Well, it's fear of survival. Trump is making us fear our very survival right now. If I just interrupt you very quickly, freezing funding would take away meals from children and seniors. People literally worrying about their next meal.
Yeah.
Worrying about our very survival. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but
no. I mean, it's been a very intense day. So fear of poverty, and then the opposition, the world. So there's this global backlash against Trump. The hope and the fear that people will have to defend for their livelihood. Final outcome: the courts come in. Queen of Swords. It's exactly what you said. I like when our cards mirror each other.
I love that too. And we got this basically last week, and I think even the week before that. And I just feel intuitively Social Security will be okay, but I think Trump is going to do anything to scare us, to make we think we're losing it. And Medicare, Medicaid, all of that. Like today, I saw that the Medicare portal, the hotline or the website or something went down today, and that in itself freaked out people. Yeah,
our hotline portal went down today. Truck and I.
yeah. So again, even though they said, "Oh, don't worry, it'll come back on," it scared the hell out of millions of people.
Oh
this
my
is,
God!
Again, this is gaslighting.
Yes, we need to stop this. We need.
I know. If anything, we got to get people to realize we got to stand in unity on this. Not let this F//KER get away with this. He's trying to break our spirits. He's trying to tear us down.
So true.
Yeah, we can't allow this.
That's so true. He's trying to break our spirits. Thank you.
There's power in our anger, Whimsy.
Yes.
But there's power in our love and our spirituality.
I just felt a wave of Benadryl hit me.
I can breathe.
Stop because my Benadryl hit. Oh my God, I hate this. I'm so sorry.
Are you feeling better now?
Yes, I have a post-it. I went to the doctor again. They give me allergies medicine. I think it's my cat's dander, but it's worse in winter. I think because she grows a coat. Is that coat?
Yeah.
So I'll get through it. So it's like January. It usually starts up in January and then it stops. It's every time she has a coat and sheds. It's like twice a year I get. And then they look up your nose. Thank God my lung function is good, but it's just a constant drip tickling the throat, constant. But it's gone because my Benadryl finally kicked in.
Glad.
So I know it annoys the audience, and I'm so sorry. All right. So Joel Tilson said the narcissist Trump loves attention. Squirrel. Can you talk to that, Chuck?
I mean, again, I made a comment earlier. We can't feed the monster, feed him with our fear, our negativity. This is a man who lives for attention. He's in many ways the ultimate narcissist, ultimate in front of the world. He's living for the attention. And if there's a way we can deflect that and not give it to him, which is, I know, hard. It's hard. Look at you and me right now. But I'm hoping as this goes on, we're going to find our strength.
Well, some of these people are saying, like Sarah Zimmerman, thank you for that comment. He bonds us with trauma. So we came together through this trauma bond. Yeah. And that's kind of how people found our channel. Yeah. And it gives a little treat, but he's the good daddy, right? Like he starves us out and then gives us a little treat. And then you know what that sounds like? Kim Jong-un. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, I was thinking also, because I've been looking at the parallels of a gaslighter. You know, they will salt you over the head, terrify you, and then give you a little bit of love, and then take it away again, and then assault you again. Well, last week, you know, the first 5 days of Trump's presidency was the shit show we were all aware of. And then he comes out here to California, you know, where we had the fires. And I watched the live local coverage. He was with Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass. And Trump was actually acting like a president. He was actually acting caring, compassionate.
And his wife was incredible, Melania.
Yeah, and I thought,
she did great. Why can't you do this all the time?
I know, but I then thought that's part of his gaslighting. You know, like I said, give a little bit of love, make you care, just enough to kind of win you over again, and then pull the rug out again, like he's doing today. I don't know how you feel about that, Whimsy, but that's what struck me.
I think that Melania is extremely smart. She speaks
allegedly 5 languages.
She does speak 5 now, but that's normal because she grew up she went to Soviet schools where they learn Russian, and then she knows her mother tongue. She knows a couple of them.
Okay. I didn't know she went to Russian schools.
What does she speak? Slovenian?
Undoubtedly, but I didn't know that about going to Russian schools.
Well, they were all Russian until 1980, whatever, because it was occupied. Slovenia was occupied. So the education system was controlled by Russia. So you had to learn Russian. And then she grew up learning Slovenian, and then she learned another, but she speaks 5 languages. That's actually true about her. She's a very smart woman, and she was able to get a very nice life for herself with her brains. The only person that likes Elon, they say, is her, because she's the only one, and she's a bookworm. She's reading 3 or 4 books a day. So the only person that can talk to Elon is her.
Yeah, I guess so.
Побили ste doma kad ste videli
Da, ja imam mislim naša kuća na ovoj strani, kad je počeo rat na ovoj strani, on je bio dosta naruši, kaže Igor na balkonu da vidiš, ja sam nazvala prvenstvo.
That's where people need help. This is a community that has a lot of resources, but it's also a very multi-generational community with people that don't have resources. And I think that a lot of people feel.
So, great job. You know, let's get more of that. Can we get more of that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can get behind that.
Well, you know, she was like a non-existent first lady the first term.
Right.
You know, hardly ever in the White House, hardly ever making appearances. So I am impressed this first week. It looks like she's making an effort.
She's doing a great job. She's also pro-choice, and she went up against Trump and said, I'm pro-choice. So
good for her.
Maybe we can save her yet. But, you know, when someone does good, I'm willing to give her credit, and she did a great job.
Sure.
So, you know, let's see more of that. What do you think about the idea that Trump could create such a chaotic situation with an intent to create martial law so that he can have more control over the situation? Do you think there's any truth to that?
Oh, you know, I had never even thought about that until I saw the question in our comments. I wouldn't put that beyond him.
Let's take a look and see if we're going to be dealing with martial law.
Okay.
I am thoroughly stoned now on Benadryl.
Oh, we're going to have a good show, Whimsy. Oh. I just have to laugh at sometimes cards pop up. Leadership card. We know who that applies. So that popped up, but now I got to see what else is going to come here. Whoa. Sometimes I get the cards and I got to figure out what all this means. I got to put a story together. But
I'm telling you, that Benadryl, when it kicks in, Amazing.
I should have done one myself so we'd be on the same level, Whimsy. We could do this together.
If you don't have this post-nasal drip, like in the back of my throat, and it drips.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's the worst. Benadryl saves me. Benadryl saves me.
Oh,
I go first.
Well, I'm still trying to make sense out of all this.
I'll go first while you make sense. Okay. So
yeah.
regarding the issue of martial law, no, there's no argument for martial law. And also the people that voted to put him into power don't want this crap. I mean, like, I feel like the business community, we don't want this crap. It's like, what the hell is this? Like, you have CEOs of companies that will not appreciate this chaos on their dime. Get back to work, right? And that includes the president that they paid for, right? So you have the Knight of Pentacles, which is slow and steady wins. This little puppy ain't going nowhere. Remember, Zuckerberg owns him, Musk owns him, Bezos owns him. By the way, all those people voted for Biden in 2020. By the way. They own him. You ain't doing crap until we approve of it. And then the opposition that they will leave. So you have people even leaving the United States. The world is the opposition. Whatever, we don't need you. We're moving to Paris. The other problem with all of this crazy is that the world that has contracts with the United States doesn't need to keep the contracts with the United States. If you continue to pull this crap, we'll go do business with another country. So he runs the risk of people actually walking out. We don't need to. Your country's a mess.
We've already got government leaders already saying this.
Right. Hopes and fears. He lives in a dream world. The hope and the fear, the Queen of Cups. She rubs her lap. La, 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 la. She lives in a dream world. The final outcome for him, the courts come in to control him.
Well, I'm
going to control this guy.
Because I was trying, I got the first. I'm so sorry, Whimsy. Are you done? Because first card, obviously leadership, that's Trump's card there. But the initial cards, I was just getting a lot of like deceit, discontent, competition, community, how we're being affected by this. But then I also got compromise, priorities, and ultimately epiphany, meaning we're going to rise above this. Like you got in your cards, like with the judgment and so forth. Epiphany, there's going to be solutions. And I was also thinking about how, one of the things Kamala Harris ran on, when she warned us, said, Trump's not going to have any guardrails. This makes him so dangerous. And I just realized what you were saying about people like Zuckerberg and Musk and others. Oh, yes, he does have guardrails. And the judges in this country, those are the guardrails right now. And I'm hoping some Congress people and senators who are going to have some integrity will provide guardrails. We're counting on all of them. But I think what I'm getting and you're getting confirms this. And I hope this is giving hope to people.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a huge look. Elon Musk gave him $225 million, and he's probably putting billions into the Abraham Accords rebuild. They want, you could argue it's parasitic to some extent, but they want a piece of the pie, which I totally get that they want a piece of the pie. But you could argue that it's not altruism. Is that how you say it? It's not altruism that's getting them all to go together. Why are these people showing up to make kissy face? Here's the original letter to Jeff Bezos from 2023. I don't think. What are we asking for? Your financial support for you to invest in this project. This is the letter that every billionaire that's part of this little party got. We need your frickin' money to build this frickin' thing. So, you bring in somebody like Zuckerberg, or you bring in somebody Bezos or any of the other people, they're going to want to get their money's worth.
Oh my God, yes.
And so if they find out that this creep, they're not going to put up with this, is what I'm saying. Because if you have a financial investment of billions of dollars and you've just got conned, I don't want to call it conned.
Yeah.
But if you've gotten conned, that Elon Musk says, yeah, man, you need to be part of the rebuild, man. Hey, Mark Zuckerberg, baby, I got the goods, I got the rights. And again, same thing. We're asking for your financial support to help with this rebuild, right? So Zuckerberg, Bezos, Musk, they own this rebuild. You know, that's another way of looking at it. They own his Mideast well, we could talk about it like that, that they, in a sense, own his Mideast policy. Doesn't that, to some extent, curb what he can and can't get away with? I don't know. What do you think?
It seems to me it makes sense. But I don't know what else to say on this. I would say, but it makes sense that.
Do you? Well, I guess my question is, I think that this is the point that people are making, and I do hear you. I hear you. What they're saying is, what kind of protection is that? These guys are psychopaths. So you have all these competing psychopaths hungry for power. So what's the guardrail for Trump? Other psychopaths?
My God, that's a way of putting it, Whimsy. That's a lot to process.
I don't know.
No, but that's a valid point you just made. Other psychopaths are the guardrails, but it's like, who's going to survive all of this? You know, Trump, of course, is the big alpha dog right now. He's in the position. He's got the presidency, but how much of it is where he's just being controlled by the others? How much of it is where he's just a puppet? But then you've got someone who's just so out of control, who's such a loose wire, who's going to say a damn thing he wants to say. How are they going to muzzle him? He can't be muzzled, apparently.
Well, I mean, the fact that MAGA and the billionaire class is his controller.
Yeah.
What does that say about his guardrails?
Well, as Indigo Child just said here, he's consolidating power to totally take over.
Do you guys think that
they're going to eat each other up? It is on, you know, on the surface, it would seem like they would eventually just implode on each other. But there's just so much crazy uncertainty right now. And of course, a lot of it's because we're all shell-shocked at the moment.
Okay, next question that people want to know. Do you think that MAGA is going to disappear when this guy is gone? Excuse me. Or do you think that it will live on? Or do you think it'll live on?
That's a good question. Do you want to throw cards on that? Well,
what's your opinion first off, and then we can throw cards.
I gotta tell you, when you threw that question at me, you had me wondering, is it, I mean, the higher part of me, the optimist, would be like, oh God, please let this end. No, I don't think so. I don't think so, because Trump is just, you know, he's an indicative. He's a sign of all that's been brewing in this country for, I guess, for decades now. And it's just all come to a boiling point. All of this hate, all of this viciousness, this anger, Trump just acts as a mirror for all of that. That's why they seem to love him so much. So I can't just see that going away.
Yeah, I don't.
Suddenly, I don't think
I think they are a movement in search of a leader if he goes.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, because once he is gone, I mean,
well, that goes to the next. Yeah, well, that was actually the question. We got a lot of questions about JD Vance.
Yeah.
And do we think that JD Vance will be president? Like, do we think this was another question that came up with a lot of people, is they wanted to know if we felt that Trump would complete his presidency or he would leave early due to a health crisis or being removed by his cabinet. You know, when you look at it just objectively, it looks like the most likely outcome would be that he would be removed on a health challenge, more than being betrayed by his own cabinet, because they are so loyal to him.
Yeah. Well, haven't you also been finding that in your readings on your other shows that there's a good likelihood it's going to be health? And because you did a show, I think it was the other day, where you said it seems like he's going to be out within 18 months. And you said the likelihood would be health, but then you also, I mean, who knows what he's going to be hit with?
Right.
You know, the man just, you know, we've become so conditioned to this man just getting away with everything. It's like there's nothing is too atrocious for Donald Trump. I mean, just when you think he's gone as low as he can possibly go, you discover that there's a basement and 6 stories below that low. You know, he just goes lower and lower and lower, to where what would it take to bring him out other than maybe a health issue? I don't know. What do you think, Whimsy?
Well, let's go ahead. I mean, like, do you want to throw on MAGA disappearing? I think the answer is going to be no. I think they're going to.
I think the answer is no too. I just think it's too massive right now.
Okay, so let's go.
It might take different forms. It might have a different name than MAGA, but it's still going to be there.
Okay, so you want to throw on J.D. Vance, the future of J.D. Vance?
Why not? What do you think? Let's see. Ooh. Ooh. I mean, that's just my first card here. I didn't even pull other cards yet, and already I get new beginnings. A door opening up, light coming in. But let me keep pulling here.
I can breathe again.
I'm glad. Whoa! Oh my God! Stuff is coming up here. I don't know if I have a story yet or anything, but I'm getting some things. I mean, just right off the bat, I got that card, New Beginnings.
Oh my God!
Leadership, which obviously refers to the presidency, but I got truth is going to be coming to the surface. But there's also going to be a lot of denial. And I got self-esteem and despair. These came out together. I think JD is scared crapless right now. I think he has his own doubts about being up to the job. He's frightened by it. That's what I get from those two cards there. Maybe he's even in denial. But as far as his being president, I think he is going to be president because I just got victory card, and I think that means he's going to be the president.
I think so too.
Tell me, what did you get?
I think Trump's going to be removed. I think it's a very sad and very painful day when they realize, for whatever reason, either due to mental illness, physical illness, or a combination of both. But I just think he's pushing to 79. He'll be 79 this year. He treats his body like crap. He's already showing there's some solid evidence of cognitive decline. But if you're asking me about J.D. Vance's cards, he presents internally as female, and that is not me trying to create a rumor to be like transphobic or anything like that. Right. Just as Lindsey Graham, every time I've done a remote of Lindsey Graham, he presents to me as female in a nightgown, right? I'm just telling you that's who shows in the remote. I'm not trying to.
I know you're not trying to be funny, but
so Lindsey Graham presents as female, and always in the cards presents as the Queen of Swords. I am a lady. I like my pearls, and I like to brush my hair. And I see a frustrated, proper Southern lady when I make contact with Lindsey Graham. When I make contact with J.D. Vance, this is a flower child girl. It's a female flower child. Mm-hmm. Dancing through the tulips as a girl, right? A smart girl. Didn't J.D. Vance go to Yale?
I think he did.
Yeah. So here's J.D. Vance, High Priestess. I'm a smart girl. Mm-hmm. This is my core. I'm a girl. I present as female, and I'm a smart girl. Now, I don't judge anyone. I recognize trans people. I mean, I don't have this issue. This is not my issue, right?
One of our very best friends is trans.
Of course. Yeah. Right. And
we've met her on both our shows.
Right. So what's that going to do? What kind of psychological number is that going to do for him? Or do you think that he's worked it out in his own way?
As far as J.D. Vance?
Yeah, I think he's.
I think he has no choice. I mean, if this is thrust upon him, but I was getting the cards. Yeah, he has a lot of self-doubt. He has a lot of worry. He knows he's not ready to handle this, but he's going to get thrown into it. And it's that I keep thinking of that cliche about how you throw the person in the deep end in the water. You either sink or you swim. I think that's going to be his case. He's going to get thrown into it whether he likes it or not. But I'm getting he's definitely going to be president.
I get that too, and I'll show you the rest of the cards. But I just think it's so sad we live in a world where people can just not be their authentic self. And you look at a film like Brokeback Mountain and how that I cried my eyes out when I saw that movie. Did you cry your eyes out when you saw it?
Oh, me too. In fact, I've met both the actors, Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal. Talked to them about
But you're
it.
such a compassionate person. I can see you being a safe haven for people also. Like, I see the way our patients can talk to you about anything, but
it's my honor. It's my honor to talk to people.
But there are people living in communities where they don't have a single person to talk to.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? And I just think, like J.D. Vance, who would he have become or been if he had been in a society that was more accepting, or a church that was more accepting of his gender?
Yeah. That's intriguing.
Yeah, so he presents as a female who's highly educated. Like, is he a lawyer? Because this is the law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's a lawyer. Okay. Yeah. Smart female lawyer. That's his identity.
In fact, there was a movie about him.
Oh, cool.
It was the movie. It was based on his book. It had Glenn Close and Amy Adams, Ron Howard.
I didn't see it. And then his opposition is the world. This is an insecure person. So he presents as a highly educated female who knows the books, but she may not necessarily have the strength to stand up to the world. Her hope and fear, she doesn't want to see fighting.
Yeah.
And her final outcome is the gift of love, Ace of Cups. You got it, girl. Here it is. I won the bouquet. Miss America. I'm Miss America. Isn't she lovely, Miss America? J.D. Vance, if I take this torch, I'm president of the United States, gosh darn it, I'll be the best Miss America I can be.
I'm always thinking when they're asked a question, well, I want to persevere world peace. And
that's J.D. Vance. I mean, it's not like I'm faking it. I mean, like,
no.
What I see. Have you guys ever seen his his drag outfits?
Yes, I have. They're on the internet. Anyone wants to look them up. Maybe you could find one, Whimsy.
Well, what's interesting is that there isn't just one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah, I know. How many people have also made comments about him wearing too much mascara and eyeliner and things like that?
He still wears makeup. He's still, he still puts his makeup on. So,
where was it?
I think he's pretty. He's a pretty girl.
Oh, there he is. Isn't she lovely? Yeah.
I think that she should be allowed to explore her sexuality and her identity without fear that she's going to be beaten up, raped, abused, attacked by people in the Republican Party because of what gender.
Oh dear God! I mean, can you imagine? I don't even know if he'd be alive if he would come forward with the truth.
There are more pictures in this. This is the only one that I can find. There's another one with him with a handbag and skirt. He actually looked really cute.
Oh my!
Yeah, there's a few of them. He had a few where he was posing with like handbag, and he went through like his whole closet.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't approve of. Even if a person is Republican, they should have a right to be trans.
Well, of course they do.
That's not the issue.
Yeah.
The issue
we're not making fun of that by any means.
We're talking about the fact that he has publicly come out attacking the trans community when he himself is probably trans. And according to people close to him, it wasn't just because it was one party. He likes to dress in women's clothing.
It's the damned hypocrisy in all the people who are being hurt. That's the problem. Of course, everybody should be free to be who they are. But it's just damn hypocrisy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have time. We decided to go a little bit over time because there's been a lot of stuff going on. So Chuck and I decided to put a little bit extra time into it. Moving over to the other side of the world, there's been quite a bit of reaction to what's going on with our very own Prince Harry. I guess we can call him our very own because he's a California boy.
We can now. 5 years.
Yeah, and I've had a lot of comments about this, and also people getting mad, like, I have a right to find out about the royal family without being yelled at. We understand why people want to talk about the royals. It's because an American woman married into the royal family, and it was a biracial. It was they were a mixed race couple.
Yes.
And a lot of people felt, excuse me, a lot of people felt like they were attacked and vindicated because his wife was black. It looks like now it's come out that Prince Harry has finally made a statement about the Murdoch payout. You want to tell the audience what the Murdoch payout was?
I think it was $12 million. Plus, Murdoch had to issue a formal apology. And all I could think is how proud his mother. Yeah, I was thinking how proud Diana would be. He's very much his mother's son.
Amen. Amen. That's all I gotta say is amen, amen.
And, while the royal family would probably never admit this, they would certainly not comment on it. I'm sure they must be privately rejoicing. I think they're all sick and tired of what the media has been doing to exploit them. If you've been in England, the British tabloids are far worse than even the American ones. The British press are vicious, and I think it's a victory for all of the royal family, whether they want to acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so moving on, the last thing, and I don't think I put it into, there was a couple things that we didn't get to. The last issue that people had talked about, and for whatever reason, I think did we talk about immigration? It was a huge subject that we
No.
Okay, so the next thing on the list, have we gotten to everything so far?
We'd be here until 11 o'clock tonight.
Okay,
if we went to everything.
On the list was immigration, right?
Yeah, immigration, but that's definitely a hot issue.
Okay, so let's talk about it. You want to talk about what Trump has done with immigration in the last week?
Where do we even start? Let me see. He has signed 10 executive orders, some other mandates he's issued. He's treating this like a wartime emergency. It's ridiculous, where he's using military planes to come and pick up these people and put them in shackles and chains. I think he's making a big show of it, because when Biden used to
anxiety in me.
When Biden would deport, or other administrations, we would use commercial planes, and there was very little fanfare about it. Trump's making a big show out of it, like a pageantry, bringing in military planes. And of course, that was the issue, wasn't it, with Colombia? Initially, Colombia did not want to accept military planes. With the deportees, and I think also Mexico. Anyway, that's just part of it. I mean, there's so much we could say about what's going on right now.
I heard that it's more than Biden, the number of people being removed.
Yes, it's the biggest in history, American history.
But not more than Obama.
Yes, that has been pointed out. But then it's only a week into this nightmare. How much more is going to happen in the coming weeks and months?
An unnamed man told CBS News, it's despicable what they're doing right now. It's very embarrassing. 1,500 active duty troops headed to the U.S. border. Colombia backs down on.
Oh, yeah. And look at all of our taxpayer money going for this.
Mm-hmm.
He's cutting off all these essential programs and putting money to this. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's cruel. I saw a little thing on Facebook the other day, said somewhere there's undoubtedly a little Latino girl hiding in an attic like Anne Frank right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. There are people terrified to even go to school, go to work. There have already been reports of like Southern California, Texas, workers not coming to the fields. They're afraid to come out. They're afraid to even go to their churches, go out in public. Everybody's hiding. It's just absurd. It's so cruel.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do one throw on the immigrants, and then I guess we'll be done for the day. Thank you, everybody, for hanging with us.
Thank you all. Yes.
And thank you, anyone who donated to the stream and became members. Much appreciated. Thank you for your membership and your financial support. Much appreciated.
Oh,
I know. It's really
I mean, already I've the first two cards here. Yeah. Ooh. Trying to find a story here because the first part's not so good.
You want me to go? You want me to go first?
Well, yeah. Why don't you go ahead? I just want to make sense of this.
Well, I think it's all BS. I think that if you guys want to eat, if we don't want to pay $50 for a pound of tomatoes, we'll be nice to the people that pick them, because the seventh house or the immediate environment regarding the rights of immigrants is lovers. And lovers is to find, compromise. And so, if somebody is picking your oranges and working their ass off, you can be sure that nobody wants them to leave the country. And we want you to come back to work, because God knows we're not going to do that work. So lovers, I stand by what I said, is that they get taken in, in a big show, because Trump is a big whatever, and then they get registered. Okay, now you have my name, you have my information. Okay, so show up next week and we'll run tests. So it's more like they get raided, they get arrested, they get into the system, then we don't have enough space for them in ICE custody. Yeah. So we release them back out, which is exactly what Biden said to do. It's not any different. We're coming to get you. They got us. Okay, what's your name? Okay, come back next week for formal registration. And then they run you through the system, and then they give you a temporary visa. It's the same thing, only we got to terrorize you. We're going to clear it out. It's the same thing. It's just like this drama. But you have the lovers coming in, and then as for their opposition, comfortable in the garden. So the majority of them I'm still out here in the garden picking tomatoes. So, and then the hope and the fear, the law will come down against. ICE judges will be for or against them, the law, and then the final outcome, the truth comes out. The truth comes out is that the multi-million-dollar people and billion-dollar people that are running these factory farms, whether it's growing animals or whether it's growing livestock or plants, need massive amounts of human labor. And the bottom line is that many of these people are coming from overseas. And if we want to continue to enjoy our food at affordable prices, we'll get them processed quickly.
Exactly.
And apologize for making their day uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's a way of looking at it.
That's basically what it looks like.
Well, I got kind of a similar happier resolution, because the first cards that were coming out, well, you heard me. You may have heard me go, oh no, because I was getting despair, suffering, loss, exhaustion. I think that's just reflective of the current mood right now, and the fear and the terror. But then ultimately, I kept focusing, okay, tell me a story. How is this going to come out? Well, business, as you just said, business is going to be very much affected by this.
Yeah.
Community is all of us. We're all being affected.
Lovers,
family. We're all like family bonding together, seeing the higher good, being here for each other. And then I got new life, balance, which goes back to what we always get about the judicial system, the laws, protection, and ultimately grace. Would you say that ties in with what you said?
That's exactly what I saw.
Yeah, that's what I got. Now, but at first, when I got those first cards, I was like, oh no. It's it looks like a shit show.
Else right I now. Wanted to say. There was something else I wanted to say about it.
Let me think.
Oh, if you are poor, if you are the working poor, it's very hard to immigrate to America. If you have a lot of money and you want to start a business, it's easy. If you can afford to, if you've gotten accepted into a high quality university like Harvard, it's easy. But if you're just a regular person picking tomatoes, it's nearly impossible to become an immigrant. If you get in illegally and then just start working, and then that's the fastest way to get I mean, that's basically the fastest way. You just go in and you get to work, and then they register you that way. And so the truth of the matter is, if you're asking about the average regular person that doesn't come from a wealthy family, that probably is the fastest way to get in.
Yeah. It just occurred to me when you were saying that about people coming here and just working hard. They're basically proving their merit. It's like they're earning their right to be here in America. They're showing they're productive. They're good citizens. And we know they're paying taxes.
Yeah.
That should be acknowledged. And I like to think in previous administrations, it has been acknowledged. But Trump, for whatever reasons, is putting on this show right now.
Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and end now. We could be here all night.
We could easily.
We didn't get through half. We didn't even get to Putin or anybody else.
Oh, Whimsy, it's so much. As I said to you at the beginning of the show, I was like, where are we even going to start? I began 10 this morning because I always like to prepare for the show. I was like digging in deeper and deeper and deeper, and then I started getting pop-up bulletins on my phone.
Right.
You told me about the emails you were getting. I thought, this is
so Chuck and I, when we plan, we usually spend the day, we throw ideas around to get to the show, and we were both saying, is this the busiest we've ever been? And we were like, what's going on? Like our phones were blowing up, and we were sending each other, and we're like, we've been doing this show for 2.5 years. We've never
seen anything like this before.
And then we were like, what? I was like, we've never worked under a Trump presidency before.
Yeah, we've all got to adapt to this. This is going to be, I don't want this to be our new norm. I hate saying that. What do you think? Do you think this is our new norm, Whimsy?
I think this is our new norm. Maybe I have to pay you more and we need to stay for an hour and a half.
Whatever it takes, because I think you and I both, we genuinely love people. We see ourselves as here to give service to people, to be light workers. And so be it. If this show will give some comfort to people, give some hope, I think we did that last week. I think you and I both were surprised. We were doing readings, and it was coming out far more positive than we thought it was going to be.
Right.
And I think that helped people. Now people need more reassurance.
Well, I think it goes back to, why did we get so many cards that have to do with the law, like Justice, Queen of Swords, High Priestess, the law? Like, why were we seeing so much of that? It's because he wants to upset us. He wants to get us into tears, but it's not actually like he has the capacity to make this happen. No, he just wants you crying and upset, which is what he has said.
Yeah. A very dear friend of mine, she's very intuitive, psychic, watches our show. She said something to me. She said, if you can mention this, no matter how we feel about Trump, now you know how we feel, but she said, no matter how you feel about Trump as a person, as a personality, look at his soul. This is a very, very troubled soul. Yeah. And she said, we should all be praying. I'm reading this. Pray for his soul. Pray for Donald Trump's soul, that he's going to be touched by humanity, by empathy, by love, something that's going to touch his soul. To see through, I know, but that's what she said. I know, Whimsy, but okay. Well, he does have a soul.
We're gonna pray hard. We're praying hard.
Oh, we're going to pray very hard. But I thought, there's something empowering in that at the same time, and maybe looking above all of this. But yeah, I think I might have reacted similarly to you when she first said that to me. But
I think we did great today. I think we didn't get to all your questions. We are sorry for that, but I think we did the best we could with the time.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time and tolerating my allergies. Chuck, do you have any announcements to make before we close?
Oh my gosh, I almost feel silly making announcements.
I am high right now. I took
all of this
25 milligrams Benadryl. I'm loopy as hell.
Ooh, I should have taken my Benadryl too.
I'm very sensitive.
But I almost feel silly making announcements after all of these serious topics. But yeah, I do a show on Mondays, Chuck's Captivating Chat. Talk, it's 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Talk about a lot of lighter things on there, like old Hollywood stories, I Love Lucy and stuff. But, I wanted to mention my dear friend Pam. She has a channel, Pomona Remembers.
Oh, yes, I know Pomona.
Yeah, Pam and I become very, very good friends. And we're talking about maybe putting a show together.
Oh,
We actually did a little test on Friday. We just recorded it, and she's going to put it on her channel. But what we want to do is talk about art and helping people to find their own art. People think because they don't have talent, like I can't draw, I can't make art. Yes, you can. You can tear up pages in a magazine, make a collage. You can take your phone, take pictures. You can, maybe your art is being in the kitchen cooking, or it's knitting or crocheting or being in your garden. But we're in agreement. People are hurting right now. People are scared. And we want to do something positive that gets people back into their creativity, their art, to channel from that, to find solace in it. And we're hoping we can interview other people who are artists and talk about their artistic process. So I just wanted to mention that's something we have in the works right now, because we're very mindful that this is important. And even when I talk to some of your people on the phone and this comes up, it comes around to we have to find our own joy right now. We have to, even as something like for me, watching I Love Lucy or Carol Burnett, or reading a book, or being with your family, or walking, we've got to get to those basics within ourselves right now. And because this is going to be a marathon the next few months. And
people are saying that they want an hour and a half because they feel like we don't do enough blitzing. So we'll try and maybe we will do that.
I'm open.
If you need a consultation with Chuck, you can send him an email along with your phone number to dransfieldchuck@gmail.com. And he also does spirit paintings.
I just did one recently for someone. It's a beautiful experience. And this is my honor. I love doing this for people. It means a lot to me. And I know that you love it too. And if it means doing an hour and a half show, by gosh darn it, we'll do it. We'll do whatever we can.
All right.
Whimsy. You're very beautiful.
All right. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. And we will see you next time.
Arrivederci,
baby.
Thank you very much.
Bye.